We are into, as Jill mentioned, that top little segment now. Let's go to Kansas City Current. They finished 4th in 2024 on 55 points. They beat North Carolina in the opening round of the playoffs. They lost 3-2 at Orlando in the semifinals. They started the year on a 15-match undefeated streak. They won the NWSL Liga MX Summer Cup Series, the last time I get to say that. And of course, they had the Golden Boot and MVP winner in Temwa Chawinga. In the offseason, they looked to goal. Lorena was brought in from Gremio. Laurel Ivory signed as well. They traded for Rocky Rodriguez, and then they re-signed some big players in Dabinia and DiBernardo. The goalkeepers from last year, Almuth Schutt, we believe is out. 80 French, we believe is out as well. And Desiree Scott has headed back to Canada. One thing to note, Caitlin Carducci has officially taken over as GM after acting as interim. Jordan, let's talk about one of the most fun teams in the league.
Yeah, entertainment, I think, is the first thing that they want to do tactics-wise. This is a direct team. They want to win the ball, and how quickly can they get it to their NWSL MVP, Temwa Chawinga? It feels like, to me, Kansas City wants to control the tempo of the game, and they want the tempo of the game to be as fast as possible because they have runners in the midfield. They rely on their three centrally to link the play between the defense and the offense. And for this Kansas City team, it doesn't feel like they're going to slow down at all, Jill. Like this is a really good structured team, and they can score a ton of goals.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is my prediction for the Shield winners this year. I think this is a roster that is completely steeped in quality in almost every position on the field. I don't think they're going to struggle to score goals. Even if Chawinga has an off game here or there, they still have players like Bia DiBernardo, who is arguably playing some of the best football of her career. Lola Bonta is slinging in a bunch of goals. Michelle Cooper looks reinvigorated out on that right-hand side. And I really liked their tactical approach last season. And you could see it to the entertainment part is they wanted to score goals. It didn't matter if it was the first minute, 90th minute. It didn't matter if they were up 4 goals or up 1 goal. They wanted to score goals. And I think that when I think back about this Kansas City team, I saw a distinct difference in their approach. I think it was against Portland when they won 4-1. In that game, they bossed Portland in every single way in that first half. And in the second half, they didn't force the issue. They didn't force the issue to score more goals. And it allowed them to be in a little bit more of a defensive posture, to be more conservative and allow teams to come out of their shape more, which opened it up in transition a bit more for them as well. So I thought there was a much more considered approach toward the end of the season. I have some reservations about Lorena in goal for this Kansas City team, but in their last 8 games of the regular season, they were 6-0-2, and they only conceded 3 goals. So I think this is a team whose identity has become galvanized under Vlatko Andonovski.
Well, and let's not forget, too, this is one of the teams that actually made quite a few personnel and a tactical change in the middle of the season. And that's something even up until their very final game in the semifinals against Orlando had mentioned. Like, listen, we're still very new. You bring in Alana Cook from Seattle, Sharples as the 2 center backs. I mean, Gabby Robinson had gone down with an ACL. So they were very much in the mindset that we're still developing relationships all the way to the end because they had made so many personnel changes. And this was a team that high pressed early on, and they let up some really easy goals once teams started figuring that out. And so they had to change. They had to start to sit back and then look to transition. It was difficult for teams to be able to stop Chawinga, but to Jill's point, you get Bia, you get Temwa back. Hopefully Bia will be healthy, Dabinia healthy as well. You also get Rocky Rodriguez in free agency from Angel City. You get Haley Hopkins. I think she's a player that's going to give them a completely different profile up top because she can play back to goal or she can play out wide. So now all of a sudden you get a little bit more experience across the board, especially when you think of like a Desiree Scott leaving and was coming in to kind of close out games towards the end. So I have a feeling that this team is going to feel upset and pissed off, actually, the way that they ended. And again, with the fan base behind them, but the experience, another year under Vlatko and those relationships building, I think they'll have some tactical nuance. They can flow in and out of 2 different styles. And if everybody's healthy, I think this team is going to be extremely difficult to play against.
We've done this on this show a lot of times, so I was going to give Jill, you the chance. Claire Hutton, what do you make of what she can be this year if you think they're going to be a Shield winner?
Yeah, I mean, I think she adds so much on the defensive side of the ball for this Kansas City team, but she also is adventurous in getting up into the attack. She gets up that left-hand side, can provide in combination in wing play or just lurk at the top of the box, waiting for those balls to pop out, that teams are just trying to clear their lines. And I am excited about this young player, not only for Kansas City, but for the future of our U.S. women's national team as well.
Because I thought it was interesting that Rocky Rodriguez was brought in. Laura, you mentioned her. Like, that's an experienced center mid. There's not minutes in that position in theory if everyone's fit.
That's true. I do think, though, that Rocky is more, even though we've seen her play a bit more of like a two-way midfielder in the last couple of places that she played, Portland and then Angel City, I do think she's more of an attacking player. And I think the more that you can allow Rocky to not have to be a two-way player and allow her just to stay up and the players behind her and get her into good positions, I think we're actually going to see a Rocky Rodriguez that we haven't seen for quite some time, which is like a playmaking, a vision type attacking midfielder that can play the final pass or at least get herself on top of the box, shoot from distance. But I'm in complete agreement, I think, with everybody on this podcast is that Claire Hutton is exceptional. And I think that we're going to see her next to like a Lily Johannes for years to come with our U.S. Women's National Team midfield.
We are excited to cover this team all season. I am excited because we are on time. Once again, we are on fire. We are in mid-season form.